1. The abandoned asylum attendant name, Emily Job, night shift attendant at the abandoned asylum. Emily had always been fascinated by the macabre, so when she landed a job as a night shift attendant at the long-abandoned St. Agnes Asylum, she thought she'd hit the jackpot. The crumbling building stood on the outskirts of town, its windows boarded up, and its history shrouded in darkness. On her first night, Emily was handed a rusty key and told to patrol the halls. The air smelled of mildew and decay. As she walked, she heard faint whispers and distant footsteps. But she was alone, or so she thought. In the basement, Emily stumbled upon a room with a broken lock. Inside, she found a journal. The entries were cryptic, filled with names and dates. The last entry read, "They never left, they watched." Emily's heart raced. She felt eyes on her, but when she turned, there was no one there. She fled the basement, vowing never to return. But the whispers followed her, echoing through the empty corridors. 2. The haunted hotel receptionist name, David Job, night shift receptionist at the old Ravenwood Hotel. David needed money, and the graveyard shift at the Ravenwood Hotel seemed like an easy gig. The hotel was ancient, its grandeur faded. The guests were few, mostly insomniacs and lost souls. On his first night, David checked in a guest named Mr. Blackwood. The man wore a top hat and gloves, his face obscured by shadows. He handed David a silver key and whispered, "Room 13. David climbed the creaky stairs, the air thick with unease. Room 13 was at the end of a dimly lit hallway. The door swung open on its own, revealing a room frozen in time. Dust-covered furniture, faded wallpaper, and a mirror reflecting nothing but darkness. As David turned to leave, he glimpsed Mr. Blackwood in the mirror. His eyes were hollow and his mouth moved silently. "You're next," he mouthed. David fled downstairs, quitting on the spot. But the next morning, the police arrived. Room 13 was empty, except for a single silver key on the bed. 3. The eerie elevator operator name, Sarah Job, elevator operator at the abandoned office building. Sarah's first day as an elevator operator was mundane. The building was deserted, its floors eerily silent. But on the stroke of midnight, things changed. The elevator doors opened on the 13th floor, a floor that didn't exist on the panel. A man stepped in, dressed in a vintage suit. His eyes were hollow and his skin translucent. "Basement," he whispered. Sarah hesitated but pressed the button. The elevator descended, the walls closing in. The man stared at her, his breath icy. "You're the new operator," he said. "They always send someone new." The doors opened to a dimly lit basement. The man stepped out, disappearing into the shadows. Sarah never saw him again, but she heard his voice in the elevator shaft, urging her to join him. She quit the next day, but the whispers followed her home. And sometimes, when she rides an elevator, she feels the cold touch of the man's hand on her shoulder. Remember, these stories aren't just fiction. They happen to real people. So the next time you start a new job, beware of the shadows lurking in the corners. You never know what horrors await on your first day.